So you've been in the investing space for like the better part of 20 years.
20 years.
How do you survive that? How does one survive for the better part of 20 years in VC?
I really think about this is a cutthroat competition. I more think about how do I really become the true self, and how do I kind of take advantage of what I have and try to do great things with it. So once you're in this business, you realize money really doesn't make much of a differentiation at all.
Hi there, welcome to the podcast. Today we have a very fortunate to have Yang Lei in the studio with us. He started his career in Silicon Valley, right here, and he worked for McKinsey for a couple of years. And before that, after that, he worked for, in terms of investing, and right now he owns his own firm, his own VC company called Particle Future. And we're very fortunate to have him here in the studio. He's gonna tell us a little bit more about the US and very unique views of how some of the technologies in China is going to come together, and how both the technologies in both these mega economies is going to affect the rest of the world. Thank you, sir. Thanks for coming. I really appreciate you for coming over.
Very glad to be here. First time.
So you spent quite a bit of time here in Silicon Valley, right?
Yes, that's right.
And so
12 years old.
Before you get into that, where do you used to live in Silicon Valley?
Oh, I used to live in Santa Clara, actually, right next to Cisco.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
So I hope you bought a whole bunch of real estate then, because you'll be swimming in money, right? I mean, not that you're not swimming.
That's right. It was actually very shabby around that time.
Really?
It's become really developed now.
And it was the Cisco area?
Yeah, Cisco area, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so how did you, tell us a little bit about your journey. How do you get from, all the way from China over here and then become who you are today? Yeah,
well, I think I was born and raised in China. So when I was very young, some of my relatives come to US. I really look forward to come to US to learn and maybe have a career in US. So that's how I kind of prepare myself in my early part of my career. In my journey, I went to Peking University for my bachelor, and then exactly. And then I came over to US to study semiconductor processing. So for PhD at University of Wisconsin, and I was really intrigued about the development in computer science as well. So I took a double major in computer science. And it's a lot of these are serendipity. I didn't plan this, but I was actually interviewing with IBM Watson Labs and Motorola Semiconductor Labs, and then there's an email came over about McKinsey's. It's kind of a training program for PhDs.
Wow!
So I said, well, this is great, free training about management consulting in Puerto Rico. I had no idea about what McKinsey is about, but I knew Puerto Rico, so I applied for it, and I got a kind of free admission to Puerto Rico for about a week and learn about management consulting. So that's the turn. I went from like a PhD nerdy guy and get into management consulting.
Holy crap!
Yeah, and I worked at McKinsey New York and Silicon Valley office, a Hanson Way, Page Mill, right over there for about. McKinsey career is about 6.5 years. I spent about 5 years in Silicon Valley.
Holy crap.
So I get to know about the tech industry. I serve companies along the value chain, from semiconductor equipment to microprocessors, memories, networking, PC, printers, software, all around the world. So I really kind of get an exposure over the entire tech space, tech value chain, right? And then one of my friends actually, he's a partner at Kleiner, a senior GP there.
Right.
He went
Kleiner
from exactly. He went from McKinsey to Kleiner. So then I realized, wow, there's a career in venture capital. So I didn't know about that. So I said, well, how do I prepare myself? my buddy gave me advice, said, you know what, maybe just start investing some companies. So I started investing some companies. I used probably 2 years of my salary around that time to invest in 5 startups in 2 years. And some of them get really traction, so I got into the VC industry after that.
Holy
that was 2005. Right, so it's almost 20 years ago. I started to do some angel investment and got into the VC industry in 2008. And then I've been working on this since then.
Okay, so you've been in the investing space for like the better part of 20 years.
20 years, yeah.
The better part of 20 years.
Yeah.
If you take a stone and you throw it in Silicon Valley, it's almost hard not to hit a VC, especially if you throw that on San Diego Road.
Yes, yes.
So the question here is it's a fairly cutthroat business.
Yeah.
How do you survive that? How does one survive for the better part of 20 years in VC?
So I would say that, 20
What's
years.
your secret sauce?
So, well, my secret sauce, first of all, 20 years ago is not that crowded. And now actually it's a lot more crowded, right? I really think about this is a cutthroat competition. I more think about how do I really become the true self, and how do I kind of take advantage of what I have and try to do great things with it, right?
And add value to the companies that you invest in.
Add value to the companies and develop yourself at the same time. You're constantly learning, constantly gaining experience. And I think there's 2 things for VC that's very important. One is your knowledge. Second is your network. So I kind of joking that for VC you need 3 things.
Right.
Knowledge, network, and be pleasant. That's the third one.
Why pleasant?
Well, people talk to you only for 3 reasons. You have knowledge, you have network, or at least you're pleasant, right? You don't kind of discourage people.
What happened to the money part?
Everyone has money. Everyone has money. So once you're in this business, you realize money really doesn't make much of a differentiation at all.
Right.
Yeah, and I think everyone has money, and you can compete for who's the dumbest guy in the room who like to pay the highest valuation, but that's not the business, right? You like to be work with them and create value. Right?
Now I'm drawing dots and connecting the dots in my head right now. What I'm thinking right now is that you were from Beida, and you have basically the movers and shakers in in China. The people that graduated when you graduated probably came out and a lot of your classmates would have started big companies, especially in computer science. And these were the initial movers of the moving forward of China's tech industry. And you have the other part of the pie, which is Silicon Valley.
Yes.
So by combining these 2, it's like, holy crap-a-yola, that's a insane value proposition when you go see a startup, any kind of a company that says, hey, these are my 2 networks and I bring this to you. Would this be one of your secret sauce? I'm guessing?
I think network definitely is. People kind of up and down the value chain. You can introduce them to customers, talents. I think that's definitely something, right? And I think the breadth and depth of the relationship certainly helped me tremendously, right? The other thing I think is helpful is just to brainstorm with the entrepreneurs. So rarely an entrepreneur has his idea really kind of fully buttoned up. And early stage of the company, usually there's a lot of challenges. And this is just a thought partner, like being a consultant, right? Like a McKinsey consultant, you talk to them and you understand what they're trying to do, and you help them to brainstorm how they can, what are the things they need to be aware of. It's just a smaller company, not the Fortune 500, but really talented, really smart, really hardworking people that I work with.
Right. I'm going to throw this out there. In the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, where is Silicon Valley going to take the rest of the world to? It's a very broad question. There's so many different ways, but where do you think this is going to go? I
think if you look into the history, Silicon Valley has been leading each and every single of the tech wave, right? Starting from the PC age to internet, to mobile internet, to AI. Silicon Valley has been almost leading every wave, right? So I think there's a
And biotech as well.
biotech as well, right? Like Genentech, for example,
Yes.
right? I think what I'm interested is I think I'm interested in AI. I'm interested in robotics. I'm also interested in crypto. Right. I think these are I think in the next decade or two, these are the things going to fundamentally transform probably our lives and how business work together as well on the 2B side. Yeah.
Holy crap. So, 3 things you said.
Yeah.
Robotics, AI, and blockchain.
Yes.
So, with these 3 technologies, we're talking 2 software and 1 hardware.
Oh, that one is not only hardware, also has software in it. Robotics also has a lot of, because you don't want a dumb robot, you want the smart robot. Actually, there's a lot of like control software, motion planning, and then there's also artificial intelligence on top of it. Yeah.
So this is a kind of a real estate channel. I'm going to ask, so how is that going to change the real estate scene in Silicon Valley first and then the rest of the world?
I think it will make the real estate much more expensive, probably.
Why?
Why? Because there's going to be more startups and there's IPOs. There people become richer. Right. People become richer. The real estate
richer than what you already are right now.
Not myself, richer than what people usually are. Right. So you'll create probably 500,000 millionaires in Silicon Valley. So then thinking about the supply demand.
One major technology breakthrough in real estate in the next 10 years. You call it right now, if you can.
Wow. Never thought about real estate technology.
How is it going to change? I'm going to throw it out there. How is it going to change in terms of automations, home automation, securities, systems? Are we going to become more ESG compliant?
Yeah,
are we going to be zero carbon emission? So it's a very big question.
So let's just kind of think out loud in this way, right? I'm afraid this is going to. I mean, a lot of people are going to have different jobs. Maybe you don't need real estate agent anymore. You don't need real estate agent. You need you just say this is the type of house I need, and it will show you in a VR tour what the house looks like. Right. You see the historical performance of this real estate, and so maybe I like to see if there's any challenges, and then it will show all the potential risks. There's a different type of pipeline issues, water problems, and maybe there's surrounding there's some environmental problems. And then you make a decision, right? You buy one that way, and you sell one that way as well. So
that's on buying a piece of real estate. But as far as the home itself, do you think AI will have a huge impact on that? Will that make life easier for people in a home?
I think
their daily lives.
I think so. I think it's smart home is I think evolving slowly, but with GPT. And GPT-4, I think it'll be very different. When you're talking to the smart speaker, right?
Wait till you go and talk to Siri. It's much worse.
But you try to make sure that it understands your question, right? But in the future, you can say something really complicated. Right. You say, "Oh, this is really cold. Can you warm up the temperature a little bit?" So maybe you just say, "Oh, I feel really cold," and it'll warm up just naturally, right?
Right.
Yeah, and maybe just to see that you're kind of shrinking, not shirking your body. Right. Then it'll do what it needs to be done.
So
now you're giving command, but if you don't need to say anything, it'll change to the environment condition that you really need. That'll be another breakthrough.
So ChatGPT is basically a large language model. It doesn't have any databases itself. So most of the databases, for example, like what you just mentioned, has already those functions, i.e. you can tell Siri what to do. You can basically tell Alexa what to do to complete your home automation inside a house. But how does ChatGPT come in, and how does that enhance your life even more?
I think that this is probably through by model. It will not only have the ability to understand the language, but also will be able to see. So when you're going back home, you're taking all the vegetable food, and then you want to cook something. Maybe you say you want to cook a pasta, right? And then it will naturally project the recipe on it, and then it will guide you. It will understand the steps that you're taking, and then it will guide you through the process. I think AI will be able to understand behaviors over time. So if you feed AI with millions of minutes of just videos, not notes, videos,
right.
it will understand the behavior, right? And when you see someone that's this is someone's cooking, this is someone actually doing some laundry, so it will understand the behavior, and with the behavior, then it will have a natural understanding of what the steps should be after that, and what help it can provide. So that could be the future, right?
So home automation.
Yeah, home automation in any way that it's possible. Right?
Will that lead us to a more ESG friendly environment? Economy, basically.
I think it could be. I think let's just take. Since you asked this question, right? So assuming that you're going to go shopping, you usually buy a lot of stuff.
Right.
When you go to the let's say Safeway, you don't really know what you need to buy, but you tend to just overbuy it because you don't want to come back again, right? But I think in the future, it will tell you. So you just say, hey, what should I buy? Right. And the refrigerator will look inside and say, this is the things you already have, and this is probably the things you need to buy. So you won't buy too much, right?
Okay.
Right. That will saving food. Energy. I think if you like the heating is a main energy consumption at your home. I think how do you really optimize it that you only heat the house when you really need it. And conserve energy while it doesn't need to. I think that will probably make your energy bill a lot more friendly, right?
So it would make it a little bit more efficient because it's able to study models and execute them.
Yeah, I actually think that the U.S. homes will be probably more energy dependent and energy independent in the future. You'll have solar and you'll have energy storage at your home. You probably will not rely too much on the grid anymore. Yeah.
Understanding you come from a very hardware angle, i.e. the factories in China. How far away are we from a carbon emission zero?
We're still have a fair long distance to carbon emission zero. Even if you're driving, let's say even if you're driving EV, you feel that you're carbon emission zero. You're not because you're to make those EV, those batteries still consumes a lot of energy, right? So if you want to be really a net zero, it's a very, very, very challenging task and requires everyone to work on it, every possible way. It's, something like maybe 20, 30 years. 30 years probably will be able to get to.
Because we're going to run out of fossil fuel in about 45 years or something like that.
We can, I think we're relying a lot more on renewable, and solar is really, like Elon said, it's an energy source that you cannot consume completely, right? The biggest nuclear reactor is sun, so there's an infinite energy that you can get from the solar power.
So basically, we'll tap the sun, we'll tap the wind, we'll tap the sea.
With solar and energy storage, you kind of can even it out. Solar comes and goes, but with energy storage, you probably it can last for a long time. If like the house we're in, if you buy something like a Tesla Powerwall, you pretty much become energy independent.
So here's the other question: how is blockchain going to change home environment? Is there possible to is the blockchain technology out there that will it affect normal real estate, generally speaking?
I think for machine to machine, so this is something we're thinking about, for machine to machine transactions. Right. So you will assume that in the future you have a lot of machines.
Right.
These machines will have transactions with machines. Right. So like for example, you have a Powerwall at your home. It will make a transaction with the electric grid. That's the backbone. Right. So the machine-machine transactions using a decentralized blockchain-based system probably will be more safer and more reliable, right? So I think on that level, you may have a machine-to-machine blockchain infrastructure. One of the major things about the blockchain technology is because you have so many different
machines at home. You've got the refrigerator,
Yeah,
you've got
yeah.
your washing
Yeah.
machine, you've got your television,
Yeah.
and they all basically have a processor inside
Yeah.
of them. And technically speaking, we can solve very many complex problems using the idle time of your
Yeah.
washing machines,
Yeah.
your car, your
Yeah.
fridge.
Yeah.
And this would basically fall into blockchain technology. I would.
This will be a decentralized physical infrastructure. So I think maybe the laptop in front of us. That's
Right.
that's a main thing. You have your PCs, laptop that has a lot more computing horsepowers. You have your gaming PC at home that's usually idle, and you can use that for maybe some of the inference jobs in your cell phone applications, right?
Right.
So that's doable. That's already doable today. Yeah.
So one of the things about large language models is that every time we put in a search on ChatGPT or
Yeah.
any one of the searches, it requires a lot of computing power in
Yeah.
order to give us that one particular answer.
That's
in
right.
fact, I think that the cost is roughly about 30 to 40 cents each search that we do on ChatGPT. So if we would find a way to employ, blockchain technology of extracting the
Yeah.
idle times of our fridge and our washing machines,
yeah.
we can cut down the cost of the computing time just off of the main servers and the cloud and the
Yeah.
laptops. Would that be correct?
I think on the refrigerator and all these things, the computing power is really minimum, really, really tiny. Usually you use very small silicons, right? So the computing power is not that great. But your PC, your laptop, your cell phones, these are very devices with extensive computing power. You can take advantage of those things. Yeah.
Wow. That's kind of cool.
That's that it's actually a lot of computing power that you can take advantage of. Yeah.
Right. And we're not far from seeing a humanoid robot at home then soon.
I think we're seeing demos.
We're seeing demos.
I still think we're just,
Elon Musk came out with really cool robots. I'm not sure how real that is. But it was able to dance. It's
Yeah.
able to.
Yeah, I think to have something at your home probably still a few years away. But a few years just, it's not very long, right? Thinking about pandemics,
Right.
right? It's just a few years, right? Right. It's 5 years. It's just like that, and I think in 5 years, probably we'll see something like that. Yeah.
Right.
And Elon's very aggressive. Usually he cannot deliver what he promised, but on time, but he always delivers.
He does. He
Right, he always delivers.
He does.
Yeah, it's
Maybe not always on time, but yes, he does.
not on time, but always delivers. So
He does.
I trust
Huge
that
fan of him.
he sees the path. Yeah,
He's brilliant. He's changing our lives as we speak right now.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge fan of him. Oh, wow.
Really remarkable guy. Yeah.
Yeah. It's. Have you ever met him?
No, I didn't.
So CES, how much have we moved forward as far as CES is concerned? How close are we to the promised land? Will it this year's CES? Will it literally have any hugely defining technology that was launched this year, in your opinion? What was the biggest for you?
I think there's a few products that's quite impressive. One is I see the transparent micro LED from Samsung.
Transparent
micro LED.
What's
right?
that?
Thinking about it's a screen. It's transparent. You can see through it. So you can see even a screen in front of you can see the camera.
Right.
Right. And it's very bright. It's actually brighter than most TVs.
Holy
Right. So this means actually it's more energy efficient as well. I think this is a technology probably took Samsung over 10 years to develop. I think we're seeing some really good demos. This is LG has a transparent transparent OLED, not as impressive as the Samsung one. I would say, yeah. The other is Samsung has a little robot called Bally. That's also pretty cute. I think it's robots getting into the home, whether in the form of humanoid or as a more kind of simpler form factors, we don't know yet. But I think probably first came in a simpler form factor. Samsung have demonstrated some really interesting robot that it's a robot, a projector, and an echo. at the same time. Yeah, so that's a very interesting product. We also see a lot of people are trying to make robots for your swimming pool, for mowing the snow, mowing your lawn, right? It's a lot of robots coming out, and people are integrating ChatGPT and a large language model into their product extensively, almost everywhere. So I think we're seeing a wave of a robotic revolution and a large language model revolution in consumer devices, in consumer electronics devices.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
And this really scary part about all the large language models coming out is that they're not building a specific AI in a particular specific industry. They are across all industries. Basically, it's trying to improve the interface between humans and machines. Basically, this technology it's just mind blowing. I was completely taken off guard by ChatGPT. And as I said before, I have no idea how people live their lives before ChatGPT. I cannot live a day without it.
I use it a lot as well. Yeah.
Right. So moving forward, I'm just going to wrap it up really quick. Predictions for Silicon Valley's real estate, to buy or not to buy?
You should buy it.
Why?
More startups, more buyouts and IPOs. That means the real estate will become more expensive. Silicon Valley is really hard to replace.
And so basically, VCs are actually looking into this space and pouring even more money into this space.
Thinking about, there's a lot of unicorns kind of waiting to go IPO.
Holy crap.
There's probably like 1,000.
On the right of on the coattails of AI, I assume.
Everything from SaaS to AI. At some point, the IPO market is going to open, right? You're going to see a lot more people become public company shareholders of these employees. So I think at that point you're going to see the real estate become a lot more expensive.
Oh wow, that's a big call.
So but the IPO market is not open at this moment, but it will open. You're going to see a lot of companies, and these companies are really sizable. So I think last year at the SaaS conference, it showed that there's probably somewhere like 15 to 20 companies with revenue over $300 million. So these are IPO-able companies, right? So thinking about 300 additional IPOs.
At least this one.
And just from the SaaS space, right? And just thinking about OpenAI, thinking about, right, so how many more really...
And there's going to be a whole bunch of technologies built on top of these large...
Oh, that's the next wave. I'm just talking about near future. I'm just talking about right after the IPO market opens, right after the stock can be traded. Right. So that will create a difference in supply and demand. You look at the market as kind of balanced, but once the IPO market opens up, supply-demand curve will invert it, right?
That's huge.
So that's a big call. Yeah, you didn't ask me about. I never thought about it, but you asked me this question. I think probably it will rise. Yeah,
it probably
will rise. There's a wave of unicorns waiting, right?
If there's going to be a whole bunch of unicorns, you're going to need supporting industries. You're going to need engineers. You're going to need technologies to be employed within a company, and obviously you need real estate space to house most of these companies.
Most of these people are here, so they want to move to bigger houses.
If you were a young person right now, in terms of the technology space, in terms of real estate, in terms of anything, what would be your best advice you would give to a young engineer right now who's sitting out there in the corner of Silicon Valley and let's just say Sunnyvale? What advice would you give him right now if he were just to start off his career?
I would say create your own startup. I think it takes much less people to create a great company nowadays because the infrastructure is there. Innovation can be realized with, in the past, maybe 100 people. And now probably you can do that with 10 people, right? Look at some of these, like WhatsApp, some of these great companies were created with very few number of people, right? So I think everyone should drive for becoming a great entrepreneur and start their own company.
Right.
And don't work at big companies. Try to do something that's not just for money, for something that you really love, and get a
And they can change
reward.
the world.
Yeah, and get a reward out of it as well.
And these days, you don't even need to know how to code. I mean, you just tell ChatGPT, it says, I want this thing, and it'll write the code for you. You just go down.
Your efficiency will be a lot higher with Copilots. Yeah,
With Copilot, that's right.
with Copilots.
So you're Microsoft person.
Yeah, I just met a friend who doesn't know how to code and created a Bitcoin, the crypto trading system.
Oh, wow.
Using Copilots.
Oh, wow.
Right. So it's quite amazing. He just write a description about what he's trying to write, the function, and then it'll pop up the entire function.
Right.
He doesn't even know whether the function works or not, but when he tested it, it looks like it worked. Yeah, I try some of that. It's actually pretty impressive. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that 40% of all code is written on GitHub is written by AI, actually. Something like that.
At this point, I'm not sure, but I think in the future, probably. Yeah.
It's
More and
gonna
more. Yeah.
get bigger and bigger.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. The quality probably will become higher as well.
Right.
Average human quality of coding is not that high.
Well, thank you very much. Any last words you want to add?
Which part of Bay Area you think, if you buy real estate, you should buy?
Right about now, the best part, it will probably go up the most, would probably be in San Jose.
San Jose.
You're getting Sunnyvale as the number one, believe it or not, city in all of California that, in terms of price gain, had the biggest price gains.
Wow.
So for them to continue that growth will be a little bit more difficult. So you probably have to go down south a little bit. I mean, it's like it's getting more expensive up north in the peninsula.
Yeah.
So the only way to do is to go down south. I guess if you want to take a big pun, you can go buy Gilroy. You can go and plant some garlic there or something.
Oh, interesting. Great advice.
That was a joke actually, but yeah.
But San Jose probably is real, right? Gilroy is a little bit far. Yeah.
Gilroy is a little bit far.
Yeah.
But San Jose would be a great place to invest. And as Silicon Valley continues to grow with all this different technology growth, it's almost impossible for you not to see a continued and very sustainable, above national average growth in real estate. That's why I think.
It has always been the way, right? Yeah.
And you'll probably continue.
Yeah. Oh, it's just, this is a place that's very different.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
compared
unlike
to
anywhere
the rest
else
of the world. Yeah.
We don't plan that, but you came out in sync. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much for coming. So that is how we're gonna end today's episode. And if you want to get in touch with Yang Lei to ask you for some money to invest in some of the technologies that you have, you can reach him at Particle Future, or just reach out. Ping me. I'll put some of his contact details there. You can reach out to him. And again, if you want to buy something in Silicon Valley in terms of real estate, please give me a call. My name is Charlie Yang, and thanks for watching.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, cool.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.